Liino has just been released, and she comes as one of the most versatile characters the whole game has ever seen. One of the reasons why she is always going to be versatile is for her attack buff that's pretty much always going to be there with her battle skill stance and with her ultimate stance. And if you combine both and min-max them, you can easily last over a minute of buff time. And all of that comes at a really cheap cost of 25 SP to just get her skill stance going. So she's like just the easiest character to use, very cheap to use as well, which makes it possible for her to be used in any team essentially. Of course, to different degrees of success, but even in teams where she isn't exactly buffing characters perfectly, she still has a really good healing mechanic where you don't have to worry about picking things up or anything like that. If you can make sure you're in her skills and ult area of effect, you do get healing efficiency increase and you also get reduced damage taken. Overall, this means you can genuinely put Liino in any team, and if she doesn't help you as a buffer, she will definitely help you still as a healer. I'll be bringing you a video that shows you all the teams that Liino would be able to be played in, which is a lot, but I'll try and show you the different types of teams rather than showing you every single possible team with every single possible 4-star equivalent of an alternative. You understand once you get into it. Do use the timestamps for convenience, and with that said, let's jump into it. Just real quick before we start, if you're looking to be spending money on the game anyways, I've got a pretty good deal for you. Introducing Loot Bar, which is a website I use often for literally just cheaper top-ups for games like Arknights and Endfield. The website's simple. It offers cheaper pricing for the same bundles in the game. You can check how much you're saving right beside the price tag. You actually could save a lot, up to 26% in total if you claim new user coupons using my link in the description. So it's just a deal that you don't want to miss out. Do not worry as well, because it's not too big of a hassle to set up. Simply click my link in the description, register an account if you don't have it yet, browse and choose any bundle, including even some custom ones that Loot Bar provides, complete the payment, choose self top up, log into your account. Now this is secured since it is set up as a one-time cloud device, so you don't gotta worry about that. You'll then see your account in-game on the browser, go to the store and click on the bundle you purchased. You'll be able to redeem it right away, and voila, you'll have your resources. Then simply log out, your data will be automatically cleared. Of course, you may have some doubts, but I do find Loot Bar 100% trustworthy, given I myself used it for the past year with no issues. It has a high score in Trustpilot too, with thousands of good reviews from customers. Loot Bar is a pretty recognized name these days, and they even have official CD key sales among other services provided for a long time now. You can actually get up to 50% off for popular Steam games like Arc Raiders, so I genuinely don't think you gotta worry about Loot Bar. They've been around the block. If you're topping out anyway, why not give it a try? Use my link in the description, and yeah, you'll support me directly too. I appreciate that, and let's get back into the video. Now then, do note that every single showcase you're watching in this video are characters that are not min-max at all. All of them have max skill ups and max artifice gear, but they don't have any singular essence for their weapons, so you are watching characters that are not reaching their full potential at all. But mainly we just want to see how teams play and how Liino fits into different teams, how comfortable or how easy it is to use these teams. Hopefully it'll help you out. And yet, let's just start with her best teams, and then we'll move on with more alternative teams, right? To start with the best Liino team where she's designed to be used in this team, it will be the Zhuang Fangyi / Liino team. Again though, I won't be showing you what happens if you swap out, say, Arknight for someone else. That still works in this setup, because if I do that, you'd have like 5 teams for each of these characters. We will not ever end the video. But what I am showing you though will be a team with Fangyi, Perlika, Arknight, and Liino. This is one of the more consistent teams for Fangyi, and it is the best electric team in the game right now in terms of consistency and smoothness of rotation. And the reason behind that is simple. First of all, it's important to understand that Liino's strongest buff comes from her ultimate, which gives you nature and electric amp. Since Zhuang Fangyi is electric, therefore this team is obviously a match made in heaven. Liino will be able to buff Fangyi very well, along with Perlika and Arknight even. Another synergy that Liino and Fangyi has is just with electrification. Liino's ultimate is able to forcibly apply electrification, and Fangyi during her ultimate will be able to consume a lot of electrification to boost her battle skill as well, which is where there's another form of synergy there. And finally, it's something small but not to mention, one of Liino's talent allows you to return some SP if your team uses an electric or nature skill after her combo skill. And a Fangyi team, as you would know, actually does use quite a lot of SPs, and usually Arknight is the one that gets you enough SP. Liino's talent is able to help out with that, albeit not by too much, but hey, at least you'll be able to still have some SP regeneration going. Sometimes you will still feel tight in terms of SP, but as the time goes by with the rotation, you realize it's not that difficult. All you really have to do is to start with Liino's skill to get the stance in, get to her ultimate, moment during when Zhuang Fangyi wants to use her ultimate as well, and you'll see your damage fly well. There are definitely ways to min-max this where you could time it so you make sure Fangyi has 9 Thunder Blades first and then use Liino's ultimate. But for the general players though, you really just have to make sure you have all your ults used at the same time and you'll be good. One thing to always keep in mind though is with Liino, after you use her ultimate, the ultimate will end as its duration goes by. After that, you do have to make sure you click on her battle skill, which isn't the end of the world if you forget, but well, you'll be missing out on healing and a 10% attack buff. Not to mention with this team though, Liino is able to heal the whole team so well with her skill and ultimate as well. Plus with Fangyi's own talent that's able to sometimes just get you damage immunity, it makes this team really safe to play and you don't really have to think about evading that much if you're not that good at evading bosses, right? This makes for a really balanced team overall that's good at survival, good at dealing damage, smooth to play with, and easy to operate too. I rate this team 5 out of 5 for performance, 2 out of 5 for difficulty, and 5 out of 5 for survivability. It is 5 out of 5 because Fangyi is able to just have damage immunity already, and on top of that, you have Liino's healing. It's pretty good. And that would be the best Liino team on paper. Next off though will be the Arcane Liino team. In this team, you'll be using Arcane as the main DPS, supported by Zaihi and Tang Tang, and of course Liino as well. This team plays exactly as how an Arcane main DPS team would play, except the general buffer or healer is now Liino. Similarly to Zhuang, Arcane is able to enjoy the benefits of the amp from Liino because Liino does buff electric and nature amp for your whole team. This makes main DPS Arcane even stronger now with the really substantial amp that she's able to get from Liino. And honestly, it's just similar in terms of the value that you would get from Liino for Arcane compared to Fangyi as well, because Liino is designed to fit nature and electric teams best. Getting that little SP return as well when Arcane uses her skill after the combo used by Liino is always helpful too, but I will say this team is not exactly near its end yet. I feel like there's gonna be more and more nature-based supports and stuff that's gonna make Arcane even better, or heck, there might be just a new nature main DPS that wouldn't mind Arcane being the sub DPS of the team. That's when Liino will truly get way better because she actually buffs your whole team with the app. So when a really strong nature character gets released in the future, it's already guaranteed Liino will have good value there. And yep, in the end, having that healing for the Arcane team is just really nice as well. It allows players to not be as punished when you do any mistakes, which hey, casual players, this is your godsend. Even for hardcore players though, you can push the numerical ceilings for a character like Arcane or any electric element characters as well that exist in the game. And of course, future electric and nature operators that get released will definitely push their ceilings via Liino, at least for a substantial time to come in my opinion. Overall, I rate this team 5 out of 5 for performance, 3 out of 5 for difficulty, because while you do have to time your final strikes and such pretty well with this entire team, 4 out of 5 for survivability. Now I will add though, depending on what boss you fight, sometimes Liino might just die really easily because I suppose during her stances, sometimes she can evade, sometimes she doesn't. I only ever fought one boss that I had a big problem with, but still with just evading a couple of times, it isn't too big of a deal. Next off, I'll be showing you the next best team in my opinion for Liino, which will be the only other electric DPS in the game. We got the Avywenna team with Liino. In this team, you'll be using Avywenna, Perlika, Gilberta, and Liino. The entire idea is pretty simple. You want to get as many Thunder Lances on the field as you can. Try and stagger the boss as well. And once you have that going, you use everyone's ultimate. Avywenna's gonna enjoy all the electric amp. Perlika can enjoy it as well, while Gilberta also gets you that arc susceptibility debuff on the enemy. On top of that is the forced electrification that's gonna be by Liino's ultimate, which actually allows you to deal more arts damage. The enemy's gonna suffer more arts damage. And Avywenna being the type of character that if you play her well, you can nuke bosses good. This makes Liino and Avywenna a pretty good combo, and you can set up some fun ideas with this team for sure. And obviously, the healing is always nice. Avywenna is not known to have great survivabilities to her kit, so the healing definitely helps. Plus, since you do have Gilberta, Gilberta does have some healing too, so yeah, it's like double healing there. Overall though, I rank this team 4 out of 5 for performance, 3 out of 5 for difficulty, and 4 out of 5 for survivability. And from that point on, we're going to finally explore the alternative teams where Liino is really not that perfect on paper, but the fact that she still gets you attack percent buff for the whole team, and that she has her constant and easy to access healing, you can still consider her in these teams if you don't have anything else. Honestly, any arts team will work, but for this showcase, let's just show Laevatain and Liino. Laevatain and Liino pretty much have not too much synergy at all, because Laevatain would prefer characters that can land, say, corrosion, or characters that can land heat infliction, and Liino does not do any of those. But what Liino can do is a cheap attack buff for the whole normal team, which is using 25 SP, and at the same time you get constant healing. Constant healing for Laevatain is really not that bad because Laevatain is the type of character that you want to always be at the face of enemies, and her movements can be a little bit heavier than other characters, especially doing the animation of her enhanced skill and such. So sometimes you might get hit even if you don't want to get hit, and yeah, having that healing is always nice. On top of that, Liino does have that electrification on her ultimate, which does allow the enemy to take more arts damage, and if you're doing arts damage with Laevatain, which you are, you'll benefit somewhat. It's not the perfect synergy, but it just works. For this team, I rank it 4 out of 5 for performance, because without that heat infliction, sometimes it does feel clunkier with Laevatain. 3 out of 5 for difficulty, and 4 out of 5 for survivability. It is important to know though, since you're not really having a 4th heat inflictor slot in this team, or at least a corrosion applier like say Ardelia, you might find some issues against single target bosses scenarios, which is why I'm putting Liino more as a healer for this team that has a bit of supportive abilities. She's still just cheap to use for SP, so you can just have your main engine run anyway with just Laevatain plus the heat inflictors like Camille or say Wolfguard, and then you just have Liino as the person that gives you the damage reduction, gives you the healing, gives you just a little bit of attack buff and some electrification on her ultimate. It's never too terrible of a thing. Do I recommend you using Liino just for this team though? I personally would not. However, if you pull Liino for the future characters, you don't own the current nature and electric characters though, and yeah, you could just put Liino on any other team as placeholder for now. It'll work out. Now then, Laevatain aside, let's take a look at other arts operators. I won't be going through all of them because, well, we don't want to stay here forever, but we'll be showing Yvonne and Liino, I suppose. Just understand that you could use Yvonne, which is an arts-based damage dealer as well. There's also Rossi Pure Heat team. If you want to use that with Liino, you technically could. Are they absolutely perfect? They are absolutely not, because Liino does not provide amp outside of nature and electric element. But in the case of Yvonne, you can just have her engine run anyway with just 3 characters, with Yvonne, Tang Tang, and Zaihi, and Liino would just be there for healing and getting that electrification during ultimates. She's cheap to use for SP, which is why you can just consider this if you want to. Is it perfect though? Absolutely not, but it's definitely usable. I won't be ranking this too much because it's not going to be too different than what an Yvonne team would do. In fact, it's not exactly better than the best Yvonne team, obviously, because while you are getting attack buffs from Liino, you're not exactly getting much more out of that in terms of offensive buffing. But again though, you do get healing, and yeah, you can actually survive with Yvonne pretty decently, considering Yvonne's the type of character that you want to stand on field. There are times where you cannot stagger the boss and the boss is jumping around attacking you while you're ulting. Having a Liino there means you can heal up, and yeah, you can have your footing. I think the healing value will be there depending on the stage you're playing, but obviously if all you care for is perfect like offensive capabilities though, Liino is not the one that is gonna be your first choice for an Yvonne team, obviously. But can you use her in this team? You can, technically, and it will just work okay, which is why I've presented you with this team, right? If you want to use it, go ahead and try. It's not gonna be absolutely broken, nothing like that. It's usable. Next off will be the team that I think suits the least for Liino. It will be any form of physical team, and we'll be showcasing the Mifu, Chen Qianyu, Li Feng, and Liino team. This team has a similar logic to any of the other alternative teams I've showed, which you pretty much just have the full engine of the team already existing in a trifecta, and then you add a Liino in there. Now, while the physical team doesn't really require attack buff to function well, having a tap buff is still not a terrible thing, you know? It still helps somewhat in terms of your basic attacks and such. But more importantly, Liino for this team really does help you survive so well. Usually in this slot, if you want to survive in a physical team and you want this team to live better, a lot of people would run, say, Amber, which definitely works. But Amber does have a criteria you do have to trigger to get some sustain in, and Liino just really don't. She does not need to do that. However, obviously, Amber is way better for getting physical stacks, which Liino is not able to do. But what Liino can do is a really constant amount of healing, and plus, if you're running Mifu, you are gonna get the shield from Mifu's kit. Combining her shield and the healing from Liino is really makes for a really comfortable team. For the showcase, I'm pretty much just in the boss's face for a lot of the times. Of course, I try to evade. Sometimes I evade, sometimes I fail. But in the end, I just didn't feel like my HP was dropping much at all. If they were all healed up with time. I didn't really have to force myself to evade every hit. I just played naturally, and it felt really comfortable. All Liino was doing was just getting the skill ready, and I don't even need her to use her ult at this point, because I just need her to get me the attack buff, getting me some damage reduction as well if I'm in the area of effect of Liino's skill or ult stance. And hey, the ult does get you a burst of healing as well, which why not? Overall, I rank this team 4 out of 5 for performance because Mifu is still cracked like that. 4 out of 5 for difficulty. It also does depend on what characters you're using, but I find needing to time Mifu and Liino to be some sort of a challenge, right? But it's not too ridiculous though. And honestly, 5+ out of 5 for survivability. This team's actually good at shattering bosses, and having a shield with Mifu, shattering bosses quickly, and still having that healing and damage reduction from Liino, this team's not gonna be dying easily. And as I said, it really does depend on what characters you use for the team. If you say swap out Liino for Amber, you're gonna do less damage, but you're probably never gonna die. Is this the best physical team ever though with Liino? Absolutely not, but it is pretty safe for the healing that Liino provides and the damage reduction too. Liino would not be able to buff too much else out of that, which is why I say it's like the least suitable team option for Liino. But if you want to force it, you absolutely can, and yeah, you'll probably be living quite well. It's a really comfortable team. And that'll be all for the teams of Liino. Of course, there's so many other characters that possibly could be used, like Rossi Pure Heat or just Rossi mixed and you're forced to Liino in there. Actually, for that one, it might not be possible. But as I already mentioned though, you can swap out all the characters that I've already shown for any alternatives that make sense. Like say if you don't have Wolfguard ready for your Laevatain team, obviously you can swap in Akikuri. If your Fangyi team has an Avywenna sub DPS, obviously you could do that too. But overall, those are the types of teams that I can think of, and I think it pretty much covers most, if not all, of the types of teams there are in a game. And yeah, which again shows you how versatile Liino can be. Of course, it still depends on what you value. If you find sustainability as something completely pointless, then you'll see Liino more as just a nature and electric buffer that can also heal. But hey, I'm just showing you what's possible, and yeah, hopefully it helped you out. Good luck with pulling Liino yourself and have fun with her. That'll be all. Take care.